Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today we're going to be talking about some Battlefield 4 rumors. Now, I was reading a few articles on mpfirst.com. That's a great website, by the way, if you want to get like the latest Battlefield news, whether it's fact or just circulating rumors. They report on all of it, so it's really a good read. But anyway, there's been a circulating rumor about basically a survey that's been going around released by Electronic Arts asking people questions about the next Battlefield game. Now, before I get into the actual questions and speculate on what that could potentially mean for the next Battlefield title, let me just say that this is not fact. It is rumors. There have been no screenshots submitted of this survey. A user on NeoGAF basically just reported what they were asked, and from there we can only speculate on what this means. So one of the first things listed here that was asked in this questionnaire was about dynamic environments, and they listed an example of, say, blowing out the foundation of a dam to flood the battlefield. Now, this is something that I've talked about in previous videos, and everybody loves that sequence in Caspian Border when the giant antenna tower falls across the battlefield when there's like 20 or 10 tickets left. And it's an awesome looking animation, and it's even cooler that you can get hit by it and it can blow stuff up. I've seen it hit helicopters before, which is pretty cool. And so adding upon that kind of thing I think would be great. There's nobody here that doesn't want to see more dynamic environments, and with the Frostbite engine having that the enhanced destruction and stuff, having something like a dam break open and flood an area and have it literally destroy or tear down some buildings would just be awesome. I honestly can't see any reason why they shouldn't implement something as awesome as that in Battlefield 4, especially the multiplayer aspect of it. I think it would really blow people away and add an extra element that nobody else has really brought to the multiplayer first-person shooter platform. There are also some questions asked about how players would feel about jet skis and gunboats with regards to naval warfare. So I think it's pretty safe to say that DICE would be looking into more naval aspects of combat, but of course they have to keep it first-person shooter oriented, so it can't get too far out there with giant battleships facing off against each other. Of course, modern warfare doesn't really have battleships that fight like that anyway, so I imagine it's going to be smaller scale like jet skis and gunboats if they do actually implement it. Then they mentioned transferring over unlocks from Battlefield 3, perhaps even ranks from Battlefield 3. And this is a weird notion. I don't know if it's something I'm personally comfortable with. I guess it would sort of inspire people to buy Battlefield 3 before Battlefield 4 comes out if they haven't already. But I just don't, I want to avoid trying to create divergences between player populations, you know. I think it would really suck if people who played Battlefield 3 got like an exclusive weapon, or they're able to get a huge advantage over other players, you know. And also on top of that, in Battlefield 4, I think the whole rank up process is really integral to new first-person shooters. Everybody starts at the same level. Some people rank up faster, some people rank up slower. I think it's good to have everybody start with sort of a tabula rasa in the beginning. Another part of the questionnaire was to ask people to rate potential DLC names for Battlefield 4. For example, Battlefield 4 Recommissioned, BF4 Re-enlisted, BF4 War-Torn, and BF4 Reconstructed. It's kind of hard to try and figure out what any of those DLCs would be about. They're pretty vague, but it's interesting nonetheless. In addition to that, they asked people what they thought about DLCs that were focused on naval warfare, with titles like BF4 Naval Warfare, BF4 Naval Combat, BF4 Steel Titans, which might go back on my initial point there. Steel Titans meaning gigantic naval battleships or warships or whatever they are. So maybe there could be some pretty large-scale combat, or maybe it would be a little bit more of a battle on, say, an aircraft carrier. Maybe one team lands some infantry on one end, the other team lands some infantry on the other end, and they sort of call it naval combat, but it's really infantry combat. Who knows? But it definitely looks like DICE is seriously looking into the potential of naval-style combat. Another question asked about remaking some maps, for example, Operation Metro or Caspian Border, and I actually think it's a great idea to try and remake some of the better designed maps. A new game doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to be completely new. You can definitely take some of the classic favorites that everybody loves from the old Battlefield titles. I think Back to Karkin was a great expansion for Battlefield 3, so Battlefield 4 should definitely have some older maps updated in the new engine. If you are going to bring maps like Operation Metro back, though, I think it would definitely be worth looking into perhaps repathing some of the internals and not just copying and pasting the whole thing. But you'd have some good opportunity to really look at the map, what didn't work so well in firefights and what worked better. And last but definitely not least, the questionnaire asked about what players would feel about co-op mode based on dino survival using primitive weapons like bow and arrow. Possible names for this sort of DLC or whatever it could be would be BF4 BC, BF4 Primal Combat, or BF4 21942. I'm not really sure how BF4 21942 relates. Maybe you guys have some ideas on that, or maybe it's just a typo by the user. But anyway, I think it's awesome that DICE is seriously looking into the co-op dino survival mode. It could play out much like, say, Left 4 Dead. I thought Left 4 Dead was a great environment, a great setup for just getting players to play against AI. And people have been circulating the dino rumors with Battlefield for such a long time. And if anybody has shown that you can take a popular first-person shooter and add in these fun little survival elements, it would definitely be the Call of Duty series with the zombie mode, because that zombie mode has become almost as popular, if not more popular, than the actual game mode for many people out there. So I think it's actually worth looking into a dino survival mode. And just thinking about it, I actually think it would be something that I personally would be interested in. And I find myself very keyed into the core mechanics of Battlefield and loving those core mechanics, but also having a co-op mode with some silly dino AI running around I think could be actually a lot of fun. And in terms of writing a story for it, it wouldn't be too hard. You just say some branch of the military was researching something out on this island and we lost communication, so we're sending in the SEAL team or whatever. Bam, there you go. You have some SEAL team guys on an island, dinosaurs chasing them. Survival mode could be a lot of fun. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this questionnaire. Again, this is all highly speculative stuff. We don't even know if this is a real questionnaire, but you know, it's worth speculating on because a lot of it does sound like something that EA would write out for a questionnaire to try and get some feedback on. I like all of the ideas there. I don't know how excited I am about naval warfare. I really think that the awesomeness of Battlefield has always relied in the infantry combat and some of the ground armored combat. You know, jeeps and tanks have been a lot of fun. Aerial combat's hard to balance. I think naval combat would be even more difficult to balance. But anyway, it's food for thought. It's exciting. I would love to see some sort of dino expansion, as long as it doesn't take away dev time from the core game, because of course that's more important than a silly dinosaur expansion. But then again, you know, I mean, the graphics engine of Frostbite rendering out a T-Rex or Velociraptors chasing you, that would just be amazing. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments about all this speculation here and what this means to you guys. And as always, thanks for watching. Check out MP First if you want to read the actual article. It's linked in the video description. And I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.